Warren Moon threw for 49,325 yards and 291 touchdowns over 17 NFL seasons, becoming the first undrafted quarterback to make the Hall of Fame and the first African-American quarterback to be enshrined in Canton. He led the Houston Oilers to 7 consecutive playoff appearances, made 9 Pro Bowls, and was named NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 1990. But before any of that happened, Moon spent 6 seasons in the Canadian Football League, where he won 5 Grey Cup championships and was named the league's most outstanding player twice. And yet, somehow, Warren Moon remains one of the most underrated quarterbacks in football history. What makes his story so remarkable? More importantly, when you look at his complete body of work, both in the CFL and NFL, how good was Warren Moon actually? Before we continue, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's dive in. Let's rewind to where this incredible journey began, because Warren Moon's path to greatness was unlike any other quarterback in history. Born in Los Angeles in 1956, Moon was a star at Alexander Hamilton High School before heading to the University of Washington. At Washington, he led the Huskies to a Rose Bowl victory over Michigan in 1978, throwing for 188 yards and 3 total touchdowns in a 27-20 win that capped an undefeated season. Despite his college success, Moon faced a harsh reality in 1978. NFL teams weren't ready for a black quarterback. This was an era when African-American players were routinely steered away from the quarterback position, told they lacked the intelligence or leadership to play the most important position in football. The racism was blatant and systemic, and Moon was a victim of it. When the 1978 NFL draft came and went without Moon's name being called, he had a choice to make. He could try to make it as a free agent, likely being asked to switch positions, or he could take his talents elsewhere. Moon chose the latter, signing with the Edmonton Eskimos of the Canadian Football League for $75,000, more money than most NFL rookies were making at the time. What happened next was nothing short of legendary. Moon didn't just succeed in the CFL, he dominated it. From 1978 to 1983, Moon led the Edmonton Eskimos to 5 consecutive Grey Cup championships, a feat that remains unmatched in professional football. He threw for 21,228 yards and 144 touchdowns in 6 CFL seasons, establishing himself as one of the greatest quarterbacks in Canadian football history. The numbers only tell part of the story. Moon's CFL success came against elite competition. Many former NFL players went north to continue their careers, and the level of play was higher than most people realized. Moon was completing 57.5% of his passes in an era when that was considered exceptional, and his leadership was unquestioned. By 1984, Moon had proven everything he could prove in Canada. At 28 years old, he was ready to test himself against the best competition in the world. The Houston Oilers, desperate for a franchise quarterback, signed Moon to a 5-year deal worth $5.5 million, making him one of the highest-paid players in the NFL, despite never having thrown a pass in the league. The transition wasn't smooth. Moon's first NFL season was a disaster. The Oilers went 3-13, and Moon threw 12 touchdowns against 14 interceptions. Critics were quick to pounce, suggesting that Moon was a CFL quarterback who couldn't cut it in the NFL. The racist undertones were obvious, and Moon faced scrutiny that white quarterbacks with similar struggles never experienced. But Moon persevered, and by his second season, the improvement was obvious. The Oilers went 5-11 in 1985, but Moon threw for 2,709 yards and 15 touchdowns. More importantly, he was showing the arm strength, accuracy, and leadership that had made him dominant in Canada. The breakthrough came in 1987. Moon threw for 2,806 yards and 21 touchdowns, leading the Oilers to a 9-6 record and their first playoff appearance since 1980. It was the beginning of a remarkable run that would see Houston make the playoffs in 7 consecutive seasons, from 1987 to 1993. Moon's peak years in Houston were spectacular. From 1988 to 1991, he threw for over 4,000 yards 2 times, a remarkable achievement in an era when passing offenses were less prolific. His 1991 season was particularly dominant, 4,690 yards and 23 touchdowns, while leading the Oilers to an 11-5 record and the AFC Central title. The advanced metrics available from that era show just how good Moon was. His completion percentage of 58.4% was above average for the time, and his yards per attempt of 7.2 was excellent. But Moon's greatness extended beyond just statistics. He was a pioneer who opened doors for future generations of African-American quarterbacks. When Moon entered the NFL in 1984, he was one of only a handful of black starting quarterbacks. His success paved the way for players like Randall Cunningham, Steve McNair, Donovan McNabb, and eventually Michael Vick, Cam Newton, and Lamar Jackson. The leadership aspect of Moon's game was consistently praised by teammates and coaches. He commanded respect in the huddle, made pre-snap adjustments, and had the arm strength to make every throw required in the NFL. His deep ball accuracy was particularly impressive. Moon could drop passes into receivers' hands 50 yards downfield with remarkable consistency. So let's break down what made Moon special, because his impact went far beyond just putting up numbers. I've identified 5 key areas that define Moon's greatness and explain why he deserves more recognition than he typically receives. Area number 1, arm talent and physical tools. Moon had one of the strongest arms of his era, capable of making throws that most quarterbacks couldn't attempt. His deep ball accuracy was exceptional, and he could drive the ball into tight windows with velocity and precision. At 6 feet 3 inches and 218 pounds, Moon had the ideal size for an NFL quarterback. Moon's release was quick and efficient, allowing him to get the ball out even when pressure was coming. His ability to throw from different arm angles and platforms gave him options that many quarterbacks didn't possess. The mobility wasn't elite, but Moon could extend plays with his legs when necessary and wasn't afraid to run for first downs in crucial situations. The durability was remarkable too. He played through injuries that would sideline most players, including a separated shoulder, broken ribs, and various other ailments. That kind of reliability was invaluable for the teams he played for. Area number 2, accuracy and ball placement. Moon's completion percentage of 58.4% was solid for his era, but his ball placement was often exceptional. He could lead receivers away from defenders, hit them in stride on crossing routes, and place balls where only his targets could catch them. The deep ball throws were particularly impressive. His ability to drop balls into receivers' hands with perfect touch and timing made him one of the most dangerous deep passers of the 1980s and 1990s. Moon's red zone accuracy was excellent too. He threw 291 touchdown passes in his NFL career, many of them coming on perfectly placed balls in tight spaces. His ability to fit balls into small windows near the goal line was consistently good throughout his career. Area number 3, leadership and mental toughness. This might have been Moon's greatest strength. He commanded respect from teammates, coaches, and opponents alike. His preparation was legendary. Moon was known for his film study, his understanding of defensive concepts, and his ability to make pre-snap adjustments. The mental toughness was evident throughout his career. Moon faced racism, criticism, and doubt at every level, but he never let it affect his performance. He played his best football in the biggest moments, leading the Oilers to 7 consecutive playoff appearances and multiple division titles. Moon's ability to perform under pressure was consistently excellent. His 17 fourth-quarter comebacks and 21 game-winning drives show his clutch gene and ability to elevate his play when everything was on the line. When the Oilers needed a big play, Moon usually delivered. Area number 4, longevity and consistency. Moon played professional football for 23 seasons, 6 in the CFL and 17 in the NFL. That kind of longevity is unprecedented and speaks to his dedication, preparation, and natural ability. He was still throwing for over 4,000 yards at age 40, showing remarkable consistency throughout his career. The CFL success can't be ignored when evaluating Moon's career. His 5 Grey Cup championships and 2 Most Outstanding Player awards show that he was dominant at the highest level of Canadian football. The competition was legitimate, and Moon's success there should be viewed as part of his overall greatness. Moon's NFL consistency was remarkable too. He threw for over 3,000 yards in 9 different seasons and over 4,000 yards 4 times. His ability to produce at a high level year after year, despite playing for different teams and in different systems, shows his adaptability and skill. Area number 5, historical impact and legacy. Moon's impact on the game extends far beyond his individual statistics. He was a trailblazer who proved that African-American quarterbacks could succeed at the highest level of professional football. His success opened doors for future generations and helped change attitudes about black quarterbacks. The Hall of Fame induction in 2006 was well-deserved recognition for Moon's complete body of work. He was the first undrafted quarterback to be enshrined in Canton, and his speech was emotional and powerful. Moon's place in football history is secure, even if he doesn't always get the recognition he deserves. Moon's influence on future quarterbacks is obvious. Players like Steve McNair, Michael Vick, and Cam Newton have all cited Moon as an inspiration and role model. His success showed that black quarterbacks could not only succeed, but dominate at the position. But here's what makes Moon's career even more impressive when you consider the context. He did all of this while facing obstacles that white quarterbacks never had to overcome. The racism he encountered was real and pervasive, yet he persevered and succeeded at the highest level. The CFL years are crucial to understanding Moon's greatness. Those weren't wasted years. They were years where Moon honed his craft, developed his leadership skills, and proved he could win championships. The 5 Grey Cups he won in Edmonton are legitimate championships that should be part of his legacy. When Moon finally got his NFL opportunity at age 28, he was already a mature, experienced quarterback. He didn't have the typical learning curve that most rookie quarterbacks experience because he'd already been playing professional football for 6 years. That experience served him well throughout his NFL career. The Houston years were Moon's peak, and they were spectacular. The run-and-shoot offense was perfect for his skill set, allowing him to showcase his arm strength and accuracy while giving him the freedom to make plays. The 7 consecutive playoff appearances speak to his ability to elevate his teammates and perform consistently at a high level. Moon's later years with Minnesota, Seattle, and Kansas City showed his professionalism and adaptability. He was still effective well into his 40s, serving as a mentor to younger quarterbacks while continuing to produce on the field. His final season in Seattle at age 42 was remarkable. He threw for 1,632 yards and 11 touchdowns in limited action. The statistical accomplishments are impressive by any measure. Moon's 49,325 passing yards ranked 3rd all-time when he retired, and his 291 touchdown passes were among the highest totals in NFL history. When you add his CFL numbers, Moon threw for over 70,000 yards and 435 touchdowns in his professional career. But statistics don't tell the complete story of Moon's impact. He was a pioneer who changed the game and opened doors for future generations. His success proved that talent and leadership transcend race, and his perseverance in the face of adversity was inspirational. The advanced metrics available from Moon's era show that he was consistently above average in most categories. His yards per attempt, completion percentage, and passer rating were all solid for his time. More importantly, his teams were successful. The Oilers made the playoffs 7 consecutive times with Moon as their starter. Comparing Moon to his contemporaries, he stacks up well against quarterbacks like Dan Marino, John Elway, and Jim Kelly. Moon's career numbers are comparable, and his team's success was better than some of his more celebrated peers. The fact that he's not always mentioned with those quarterbacks is more about perception than performance. The clutch factor was real with Moon. His performance in playoff games was generally good, though the Oilers never quite got over the hump to reach a Super Bowl. Moon's playoff numbers 17 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions in 10 games show he could perform on the biggest stage. So how good was Warren Moon actually? He was an elite quarterback who deserves to be mentioned with the best players of his era. His combination of arm talent, leadership, and historical significance makes him one of the most important quarterbacks in NFL history. Moon's career is a testament to perseverance, talent, and the power of opportunity. He overcame racism, doubt, and adversity to become one of the most successful quarterbacks in professional football history. His 5 CFL championships and 7 consecutive NFL playoff appearances speak to his ability to win at the highest level. The Hall of Fame recognition was appropriate and overdue. Moon's complete body of work, including his CFL success, makes him one of the most accomplished quarterbacks ever. His impact on the game extends far beyond statistics, as he helped change attitudes and open doors for future generations. Moon was a pioneer, a champion, and a Hall of Fame quarterback who deserves more recognition than he typically receives. His story is one of triumph over adversity, and his success paved the way for the diverse group of quarterbacks we see in today's NFL. The truth about Warren Moon is that he was better than most people remember, and more important than many realize. He was an elite quarterback who succeeded at every level of professional football, and his legacy should be celebrated alongside the greatest players in the game's history. What do you think? Does Warren Moon get the respect he deserves as one of the great quarterbacks in football history? Should his CFL success be weighted more heavily when evaluating his career? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.